Hi everyone. So today I will share some of my experience in video game industry with you guys, and thank you for Rockets Award to give me the chance to sharing. And let's get started. Oh. All right. So my name is Tian. I'm a senior concept artist in Bad Robot Games. So if you guys don't know what Bad Robot Games is, so we are a new company, but we also belong to Bad Robots. But Bad Robot is actually a pretty old company. They make movies and TV show. So some of the movie like Star Trek, Star Wars, also like Cloverfield, and some TV show like Lost and Western World. So they make like a video game company. So we belong to that. And then I'm currently working for a AAA co-op shooter. The game will be announced soon. My game director is Mike Booth, and the guy who create Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. So I joined the team in 2021 for almost 4 years ago. And back in that time, we only have like 6 people. So I joined the team at the very beginning from the early concept stage. So all the way, I just like grew up with the whole project, and then we almost get to announced, and then we will launch in the next 1 or 2 years. So I learn a lot. I grow a lot through the whole process, and I just know like I just learn like what a concept artist need to do throughout the whole video game development. So I want to share my experience with you guys. So hopefully that's helpful. So yeah. So go to topic of today. It's just understanding the role of the concept artist throughout the whole game develop process pipeline, and then like to know like what you should put into your portfolio, like especially if you don't have much experience. Let's learn like what type of image you're gonna need to put into a portfolio. But so the game I'm working for, it's a co-op shooter. It's a multiplayer game. I don't have much experience for single player, so that's I want to clarify at the beginning. So but there's some experience you can also use for like single player. So let's get started. Um, so before we talk about the game pipeline, we want to start talk about the core value of like concept artists in a game and making a game. So we look at people like posted lots of like really pleasing or like satisfying the artwork on like ArtStation, right? I go for a game. This is the cool image I make. So you would, but as a concept artist, you are not just a people making beautiful image. The image behind the image is that what is your value to the project. So first is that we will have to build the visual identity, which is the art style, all the visual languages for the whole project, throughout the whole project. And the second one is that our image is in the middle of a pipeline. It's not the end product. So we will use the concept art to guide the art production. So when I say we are in between of a pipeline, it's because above us is our game director. They will pass their requirement to concept artists. He say like, oh, I need a weapon. So the weapon is how the gameplay is like that. And then concept artists got the task. We need to think about how this thing look like, how it works for the gameplay. And then we provide our concept design. So everyone can look at it, say like, oh, this is version I like. So we then pass the concept art to 3D modeling, animation, VFX, everything, and then we'll pass back to again to technical designer. They will put it into the game that finish the whole process. So we are in between of the game develop pipeline. That's really, really critical. And the third one is that because we here, we can reduce the production cost because we don't need to build the whole thing, right? Build the whole thing at the spend a long time to build the whole thing, and then it doesn't work because we already visualize it, so everyone can look at it, everyone can think about it, like, oh yeah, it worked or not. So then we make a decision whether we make that design, and then we pass on to like modeling, so we can save the production cost. That's the core value of the concept artist in making a game. It's not just beautiful image. We actually need to solve the problem in this process. So let's look at like how to make a game, like how many stages we need to go through. So we need to go through early concept, pre-production, and vertical slice. So pre-production, in the late stage of pre-production, we will go into something called vertical slice. And then we go to production. After production, we go to alpha, beta, launch, DLC, PLC. So that's how the whole process for a video game. So let's look at like early concept. So what is the early concept in making a game? So at this stage, the team is small. That's like back in 2021 when I joined the team, only 6 people, right? So we built up the whole game. The game is look like that, like all the gray box. You only have those box, this really, really rough model. Because the game designer, they need to change the game really fast. They need to prove that this game is fun to play. If this game is not fun to play, they can change it really fast because it's easy to change, only box here. So you would test the game is fun, and then everything in the game is uncertain. Everything is placeholder, and there's lots of possibility the game can change. But normally in this stage, in the game director's mind, he already know what type of game is. It's a single player, it's co-op shooter, it's a roguelike extraction shooter, open world looter shooter. They already know what type of game they're trying to make, but there's still a lot of things they need to think about, like how to play, how the gameplay actually is, how they make something different compared to the competitor. There's lots of possibility they need to make, they need to change. So when in this stage, it left a bit space for us to explore like what we can do like visually to level up the whole game. So this is the early stage for like making a game. And then as a concept artist, what you need to do in this stage, I'm not gonna start with like we making arts. It's not the start. The start with join playtest. That's when I joined the company, first thing I do is join the playtest. It's because like you need to know the game before you do the arts. If you just, oh yeah, I just want to do cool arts. No, it's like your arts need to solve the problem in the game. So in this stage, join the playtest, learn the game, learn the design philosophy in your game director's mind, and the art's vision and the style of your art director, and then understand the idea behind the game story. Like no matter what type of game, they may have like a rough story behind it, to learn it, and then learn the entire team. So for me, when I joined the team, like we need to play test the game like almost every day, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every morning. We gotta play test the game. And then we will like discuss like, oh yeah, I will ask lots of questions like, oh, why you do that? What is that? Like, why this is fun? Like why you don't do that? Like I ask lots of questions. Like after playtest, we will like have a feedback section. We'll discuss like, oh yeah, today I don't like that. I hate that. I like that. I have an idea. So it's a good time to build the trust in the team. And I also realized like when I joined the team, I don't have much experience. My boss, Mike Booth, he worked for the game industry for so many years, and he made a really famous game level that like why he trusts me, like why he gonna give the task to me to let me to make art for something in the game. Like why he trusts a artist just come out from school like very short time. I think the reason to make him trust you is to show you care the project, you care the game, right? You care the game, you want to know, you eager to learn, and you have your idea. This is really important time to show your idea, show your passion to him, to build the trust. That will help you. That the trust will carry on to when you do like actual task. That's why I would start with like join the playtest. If you really want to be a really good concept artist in game industry, you really need to know the game, not just arts. So second, we move to the art part, is to make like a master reference board to build your game style, to make art for the game. You first need to have lots of reference. Reference is super important, because lots of a visual problem already solved in images, right? Almost like 99%. You need to look reference to find your inspiration. And also, when I'm talking about reference, it's not just images. We also play games. So back in that time, like me and my art director, my lead concept artist, like we play co-op shooter like almost every day. Other game like Ready or Not, Rainbow Six, Dark Tide, Warhammer, blah blah blah. We play lots of games like almost every day. We learn like how people already build a game, how people make the art work in the game. So we just learn all of that, and then we make screenshot, and then we go to Pinterest, we can Google, we got all the images. So back in that time, I'm only like a normal like concept artist, but I still try to get all the image that inspire me and try to provide them to the team. So we build a board together. So we just work together to make it work. So that's like we build the reference board, like really big. And the next one, we go to the more fun part. It's like we start to do like blue sky painting and keyframes. I find some, so all the image I showed here, the concept art I showed here is from other artists, because unfortunately I could not show any image I worked for the project because they're all still under NDA. So I find the image, I feel like it's super close to what I did for the project. So you can see we start to build up like blue sky painting. So in this painting, we depict the overall atmosphere of the game's world. It's just the feeling of the world. It's not like, okay, the game will look exactly like that, but we just capture the feeling to let the game director know, oh, this is the feeling we try to catch in this game. Or we try to let our investor know, like, cool, look at the image. This is our game probably gonna look like. This is the game we try to build. Really cool, right? We have those beautiful colors, really appealing shape, right? Dramatic narrative, maybe, right? To show the feeling to them. So for the blue sky painting, they are really reflect like the general art direction, the feeling of the world, and they are usually really have like high visual impact and appeal. When I say high visual impact, it's about like they have like really good silhouette, good color, strong the impact, like visual impact. They don't necessarily to be like really finished painting, then they can be a bit sketchy because the game is still in like a really sketchy stages. You just don't know exactly what everything gonna look like, but you just need to show the feeling to other people. So this is the blue sky painting gonna need to do. And the next one is even fun, is that we do lots of exploration sketches. I don't remember how many sketches I did, but I would just keep drawing, like do lots of drawing. You can see like, so our game director, like Mike, he will say like, oh, cool. Yeah, we need to think about the mission objectives. So how they gotta look like. I don't need the final answer. You guys just give me ideas. So we just like sketches lots of cool things we think about like that could be mission objectives. And then we try to show him some game ideas so he can put into the game. We try to inspire him. So this is sketches from one of the artists I really like. So you can see like, yeah, they have like different direction. They kind of like out of box, right? They have everything. So we just try to depict the idea. You can see like this is about character, right? So I really like those images. It's really close to what I did when I do the exploration sketches, right? They have different silhouette. This is more have like curve. This is like a square. And for this, like the building, what I like is that it looks like a normal building, like how you twist that. Like there's lots of possibilities, like how you twist a car, there's lots of ideas. So in this time of sketches, you need to fully release your imagination, but also you also need to time your imagination to solve like a gameplay problem or like a world building problem in your game, and thinking it as a way to contribute to the game design idea and choices, because you can actually make some inference in the game. So I remember back in 2021, I give some ideas to my game director. He actually put it in the game, and it carry away all the way to now, like after 4 years, that idea is still in the game. And also some idea never in the game, but the game director, he remember it, so which is cool. Like not just put your design into it, but put your idea into the game design. That's really cool. It's like expand what you can do. And the next one, okay, so that's what we usually do, like as a concept artist in like early concept stage in making a game. So we go to the next stage. It's called pre-production and vertical slice. So in this stage, right, in the game, everything is pretty much still gray box, but not exactly the same as early concept, because if you compare this one to this one, right, can you tell what this is? It could be a city, it could be the castle, it could be maybe a factory, right? You don't know the function of it, you don't know what that is. But in this stage, oh yeah, I can tell it's a pot, right? You can slightly tell it's a pot, but it still don't have any like art in it. So in this stage, we try to planning and prototype, like the game core idea is there. The game, how the game gonna play is probably gradually become like solid, right? So we may add function into the game level a little bit, and then in the later stage of pre-production, we pick an area, like for example here, right? We make into a vertical slice. So what a vertical slice is, we pick a small area within our time and budget, we made into the final quality of this area. Like the game final quality, we try to make it happen in this small area. So what we do is like we test like with this art direction, with this art style, can we finish that within our budget, within our timeline? Is just our style gonna work for the whole gameplay? Will our publisher like it? Because for us, like back in that time, we need to prove that, okay, our publisher like it too. So, and it also worked for the gameplay. It also worked for the budget. So everything gonna work. So that's we make the vertical slice. So yeah, so what the concept artist gotta do is like, okay, we do something called like we'll do some key game element sketches, and we also do like art meshes. So in this stage, there's some key game elements like character, key props, really iconic environment. We try to really nail down the concept design for them. And then we explore the idea, like how they look like, right? We do sketches. And there's one thing really fun I did in the project is I make like 3D art meshes. So what 3D art meshes do is like I make like 2D sketches. So this is example. I did this for another project like before BRG. It's like an outsourced project, but I did it. And so I make those 2D sketches exploration. You can see all these are photo bash. The big rock, mid rock, small rock, right? I mainly spend like 2 days for those sketches, and then I spend like less 1 day to capture the general shape of them. I build them all in Blender, less than 1 day. So I have all these meshes. I give these meshes to the game design and level design. They look at the meshes. They say, oh, cool. You know what? We gotta just put the meshes in the level. I will use these meshes to build the level so we can finish building I think they're building like a dungeon. Like we can finish building the dungeon by use your mesh and also test your mesh, whether it's gonna work. If it worked, we just move on then to the modeling, or we might need to do, we might need you to do some final concept, but we will just test them. That is pretty important, like at this stage, to really to put your design to test in the game, to make it like, if there is a problem with your design, you can change that really, really fast. And then you can iterate your idea pretty fast. And there's a lot of back and forth revision, but just in like rough sketches stage, but test them in the game. And then once they're happy with it, just move on to final concept or move on to modeling. So that will help to keep the project go on like really, really fast. So this is what I do, like 3D art mesh in this stage. So that's why I highly recommend, if you not learn 3D, try to learn a little bit 3D. And if you're really good at 3D, in this stage, you don't need to build it like really detailed. Just capture the general silhouette or the general shape of it, put it in the game, let them put it in the game, try it, just look at it, like how it works. And then to make your final concept that will make the concept work even better for the game. And the next part is, another part is called vertical slide keyframe. There's another thing concept art need to do. So we start to make some paintings, but if you look at these paintings, they're not like some crazy painting, right? Compared to the painting here, like, oh, colors, oh, shape, not, it's like, oh yeah, it's a painting about a certain corner, right? Because this painting have lots of information we can provide to help the art department to finish the vertical slice. If you look close in the painting, it's like a solid concept, depict the art style in the vertical slice area. It includes all the key elements in the vertical slice. For example, we have character. If you look close, oh, so this is the examples, but it's really close to what I did. So this is examples from Simon Stalahan. This is his illustration, but because we can use this example, right? Because look at here, there's characters. There's a bad guy, there's a good guy. How the bad guy gonna look like? What is their color difference, right? They look like more like daily costume, but they have like a special uniform. That's a really key information to set up the style for the character. And other thing is like architecture, environment, right? Look at the architecture, a bomb, a house. You're probably gonna say, it's just a barn, it's just a house. What is different? Is it pretty important? Because you gotta tell people like, okay, in our environment, we have the daily architecture. We don't have crazy architecture. This is actually a pretty important information to set up your art style. And the other thing is bio, right? Bio, you see like, okay, we have a little bit overgrown, maybe because people left this place. Yeah, no people clean here, but not crazy overgrown, right? Not something like The Last of Us. So this is actually critical information. And atmosphere, we don't have sunny day, we have cloudy day, a more like creepy environment, right? Key props. So in this game, we gotta need some, so in this daily environment, oh cool, we have some crazy sci-fi vehicles, abandoned sci-fi props, right? We gotta need to figure them out, but we gotta put it into the environment. And then like maybe we like, oh, okay, like also have to have vehicles. Like if we have like a gigantic monster here, yeah, we have creatures in our game. So this is like an area almost include everything you need to put into the game. Everything like just the final game might have. So this image might spend a lot of time to finish, like maybe I would say like 2 weeks, right? Because there's lots of back and forth game director like, oh, I don't like the bio look like that. The bio can, the grass can go a little bit crazier. There's lots of like a detailed drawing or detailed photo bash or detailed like 3D model, how to build a concept. So we need to provide lots of information. So if you look at this image, yeah, it could be like illustration, nothing crazy, but for vertical slice, it actually provides lots of information. So this piece, maybe it's 1 or 2 pieces, will like just guide the production of the whole vertical slice. So environment team will look at it, modeling team like will look at it, maybe VFX they don't have VFX here, but sometimes they, I think in the image we did for our game, we do have a VFX there. So VFX team gotta look at it. So everyone gotta look at this image. It's pretty critical. I didn't do the vertical slide keyframe in our game. It's done by our lead concept artist, but I just want to share with you guys like what they do. And the next stage is like we will just nail down, finish all the key concept design we need to put into the vertical slice. So they may have some character, creature, props, architectures. And yeah, so you need to let like every concept solve your gameplay problem. So for example, we start and it's also really important to start to establish the whole art production process. So if you ever work for like a really big company or a really famous project, you will find like the process is already there. People just tell you like you do sketches, you send it to someone else, and then they get feedback, and then you just pass it to whoever. But for me in our project, is nothing. So the whole team is new. Everyone we work together at the same time. So we need to figure out what is our production process first. Because if we just jump into make concept art immediately, no process, the whole process gonna be like super not efficient. That will cost us too many time. So we try to figure out a process, which is we will communicate with our game director, narrative director to learn what they need. And then we go into the game to play the thing. And then we find reference. And then we do sketches. So for sketches, this is really close to what I did. So in here, you see like I still need to provide different variation for my design, but it's not crazy as this one, right? You can see like this is maybe 4 different creatures in one game. But for here, it's really clear, like I decide one type of robot to solve one type of problem in the game. And I try to provide like maybe a short version, a slightly higher one, like a really big one. And I have different design for the body, but they are within a certain art style, certain function, certain timeline, not crazy. And I also need to think of like, for example, like whether this solve the game problem. This one example, if you look at his leg, right? His leg here, it's not like a normal leg. It's more like a tank shape, right? So this could lead to a problem. It's like how this thing gonna work in the game. If all the game is just like flat ground, all cool, but how about nature environment? Like how about rock? How about mountains? How about water? How about jump? Can you jump mentally? Everything? Can you do that? Do we need to do that? That's what I need to ask game director first, and then I need to think about it. And can we solve that problem? Right? So that's all I need to solve in like sketches stages. That normally those sketches will go through like I would say like 1 round of sketches. It's pretty cool. But when we make the vertical slides, I think every sketches I will go through like at least 3 rounds of sketches, because we need to check with game director whether he like it, or maybe game director, they don't know what they need. They just need to see more. So but normally I will keep it within like 3 rounds. It's like more than 3 rounds, that will take too long. So that's why it's pretty important. Just ask your game director what he really wants and read through every feedback really, really carefully. And then we go through lots of sketches, right? Lots of sketches, review sketches, like 3 rounds. And then we move on to final concept. So in final concept stage, there's a lots of approach we can finish a concept. You can do light drawing, you can do full paint over, full photo bash, full 3D render. It requires different times, right? There's something just take longer. Like if you do like full rendering, it takes really long. It's really important to check what is the expectation from your art director or from your producer, what they want you to do. If they say like, we just don't have enough time, let's just make light drawing. You need to know that. If you just like, hey, I just want to do portfolio piece, full rendering, and you spend like a week, you gotta piss off people, right? Because like, guys, we don't have that much time. Light drawing is enough. You just need to know. If you really want like a final quality for this type of concept, go back to it when you have time. But just know what the expectation for the final quality. And sometimes, even want to save time, we just make call outs, right? And so we gotta need to do a final review, and then we move on to like modeling and like just animation. So you can see like I picked this concept from Prey. So in this game, like you can see like how they make like the final concept work. Just example. Yeah, so just communicate with the team, game design, narrative, like everyone just communicate. There's one thing also really important. If you ever get a chance to build like robots or like character, you also need to communicate with like animation, because again, I need to know like, can I make the robot, the arm move like that, or it work like that, or the costume, can the character move, right? You need to check with them before you make the concept, because when you start a new project, people don't have every answer. You don't have the answer. You just need to ask them, and they can discuss with you, and then you need to find like a solution. That's how you build up the trust and like collaboration within the team, so you guys can move on, right? So, and then after you build like all the concept for the vertical slice, you somehow get to build up like a full art style guide. You test and learn and revision, and just make like a solid style guide. And then you have art do and don'ts. That's pretty important. Like, you know what you can do to put into the arts, and you know what you don't want to put into the arts. So keep everything looked cohesively. In the end, I would also want to say, in pre-production stage, you still need to join playtest constantly. It's really important to check what happened in gameplay, like what changed in the game, because the game's still changing. You need to know what changed, right? If the game changed, you don't know, you make the concept and no one likes it, no one wants it, that's bad. And you also can test and look at people. Like, if you have art mesh, you can test your art mesh. You can look at the art mesh, how it feels in the game, and you know like what you might need to change. And you can also listen to people's feedback, good or bad. Just good, cool. Bad, good, change it, right? So that's this stage. And the next stage, I think this stage, like in production stage, I think that is the stage I like. It's not that I only like this stage, because it's more like a comfortable stage, because for this stage you go through all the hard things, everything we work out, so we move on to production. So in this stage, it's time to finish the whole game, just build everything to the final quality, right? So we move our concept art to exploration, to execution, because in this stage we already set up the art style. We know what's gonna work, what doesn't work, so we just repeat the design process, art production process, over again, until we finish all the concept we need for the game. You saw this image again because I still want to say playtest, because before you get, so for me, every 3 weeks, I will get a task list from my producer. She will let me know what concept I need to finish in 3 weeks. So if I didn't finish something in this 3 weeks, the reason is from me, then maybe people like the modeling team, the outsource team, they just don't have work to do. So I need to take the responsibility to make sure I finish all my concept in 3 weeks. So before I start every task, I will go into the game. I will play test the character, play test the props, go through the environment to see how they work in the game, to see how they look like in the game, to feel the scale, to look at the limitation. And then I will write down my questions, and then I will ask all the people I need to ask to get all the answer, so I can know what exactly I need to do. What is the limitation? Like for some, so sometimes I have like a super good idea, yeah, to get it work, and then I ask my game director. They said, no, we just don't have money to do that. Uh, you can't do that. Like I remember I need to design like a robot, and then I have a super cool idea. Like it's gonna work. And then I asked my game director. He said, "No, we don't have time. We're gonna reuse the rig animation already did, so you can only change here, here, here." I was like, "Shit! All the cool thing I can do, I can't do anymore. But I still need to make it cool." So know this limitation, know what you need to do, what you can do, what you can't do before you do any task. Like just play test. Know the thing. And then you gotta tell your producer, hey, yeah, I think I'm gonna need like 3 days to finish this, right? So I would just go through like the process from like reference, sketch, review, sketch, and then final, like all the way to handle it, pass it to a outsourced company. The more I repeat this process, the smooth it will get. So yeah, it just like repeat. So the character. So this is, you guys probably see like all this image online. So this is really close to what I did in my job, right? I really like this image. It's like if you look at this, it's a sketches for a character, and then they focus on the head and the upper body, like how they provide different costume solution. They change the lower body a little bit, but normally players' attention is at the head of the upper body, so you can save the effort to show the best result. So I really like that. And this is might be the final design, right? To like a full rendering, light drawing of the back, save the time, and then focus on key props, provide like enough information. And for this one, like also like sketch and the finished one, and this one you got like a whole design, like a detail for the key parts, built from different like side view, front view, top, bottom, light drawing, save the time. And this is like a really good example for call outs. And this is like the environment super close to what I did. Like not sometimes you also need to do like graphic design and VFX. So not just like environment. So all the thing is just help your team understand what the thing will look like. Provide like a blueprint. Like blueprint is approved for by your game director, art director, narrative director. So other people like modeling, animation, they can keep the thing going to make the thing happen. Yeah, that's the production. So after production, we're gonna move to alpha to launch. So in this stage, the game is almost like finished. We start to invite people to play test, like real player to play test the game. So for us, like we have like a really small like friends and family test, and then we expand to some close play test. We start to include like more and more people. So we gradually build a community for the whole game, and then we might move to more like open beta test, and then we all the way to official launch. So for concept arts in this stage, what you need to do is similar to like production. We just finish all the concept art for the game. There's maybe some new concept you need to do because the play test for real players. So real player might ask for something new. So our game director, after review the whole feedback, they'll say, "Oh, cool, let's add something new." So we might get some new tasks. And also, we gotta move on to DLC, PLC, post-launch content. Those are similar to production stage. We also might need to provide some content for marketing team, for the game promotion. So this is almost like the whole process I went through, and I will go to. Like for example, now I kind of move on to like PLC, like post-launch content, making those. So yeah, and so what you're gonna need to do for your portfolio to to meet the needs of making a game. It's like when you learn, like, oh, we need this image in different stage, you can make your portfolio image, like, to show what this image can be used in different stage, right? So first of all, I would say, like, ask yourself some questions, like, after you know how the game gonna make, like, to understand yourself. Like, first, it's like, what style you like more like stylization. When I talk about stylization, I'm thinking about like something like the, like, animation stylization, like really change the proportion of things, or stylization but keep the thing still in like realistic proportion, right? Or just totally realistic. Ask yourself what you like. Or you can, or you want to do different style. I mean, like, do different style is cool, but it's really, really hard. If you just try to get into the industry, maybe focus on one style. But if you're really good, I will, like, encourage you to try different styles. So for me, so my comfort zone is realistic, but I can do something stylization as long as you give me the direction, right? So determine, do you prefer world building exploration, or you prefer just execution, right? Just concept design to solve production problem? Ask yourself that, like, and also identify your focus. Lots of people talk about that, like character, environment, prop, weapon, creature. I would say, if you find yourself just like character, just do character, right? If you're interested in different genre, like you're interested in environment and weapons, yeah, try both, right? Just know what is your area. So for me, I I like to do everything except character. So that's me. So also, that's a the last part is the hard part. It's really hard to assess your current skill level. Um, to know what is your gap to the industry standard, because I don't want to, I don't want to say like, yeah, welcome everyone, but the truth is the industry is super competitive. I remember back in 2019, I start to really face my gap, the gap between me and the industry standard, which is huge. Shit. Oh, that's really hard to see that, like, made me really frustrated. But it actually pushed me to try really, really hard. I took different tutorial, different class from different mentor. I'm trying my best to to learn to be better. I remember back in that time, I took a John Park mentorship. Um, I don't have enough money to take two mentorship, because some of my friends, they can took like three or two mentorship, like there's lots of money. And then I was like, holy shit, what I gotta do? So I basically just finished. So normally people, it took like 6 months to finish some image. I only took like 3 months, because I only can take one mentorship. That's like, I try really, really hard to narrow the gap. Yeah, so just understand yourself. And second is just understand the industry. Just like I say, like, after I work for BRG, I just know that there's so many things I just don't know. I wish I know earlier before I go into the company. So just learn the industry. Like, for example, right, to learn how the game industry change, right? To know some new project, what people like to play right now, what people don't like, right? So there's lots of sauce you can learn. Like for me personally, I like to go to YouTube. I watch streamers, how the YouTubers, how they talk about video game, they shit on video game, they like something. I want to listen and watch Twitch. I really like to watch people play games. I personally, I also really like to play games. Steam, right? I would go through Steam, like what is top seller, what people most play. Is there a new game coming up? What is that? Which company made that? Also, like read news, that we all know that. and also LinkedIn, like, oh, the artist you like, he changed to the other company, the new company that hired a new job, right? To just learn all the news. And then like when I try to get a job, so I would just make like a target list to list all the project, the company that you like, right? You're interested in. And I would say try to find their project style, and what game developed stage they are in. There's lots of way you can figure that out. Like if it's like already finished established project, they try to make more content, they try to make the second one, right? Just learn the style. Or you can look through their game director, creative director, art director, search them on LinkedIn to see what the game they used to make, to what the project they join, they used to participated, to learn their style, to learn what genre they like, right? To write it down, write down all the information you need to know, right? To then you can know like, oh, what type of image you should put into your portfolio. If you just like send out your portfolio, like send out the same portfolio to every different project, yeah, that not gonna work probably. Yeah. So also try to gain some like practical experience. It's super cool. You can get internship. But when I start looking for job, I found like it's really hard to get an internship. Not many companies could do that. Normally they want people who have experience. So instead of internship, there's still lots of things you can do. Like for example, you can go to some university, they have game design project, right? They might need art support. Try to reach out to them, or try to email or ask people you know, right? Join student project. The second one is that like you can go to some industry conference like GDC. There's no guarantee you can get the job in GDC, but at least to know people, what people doing, to know, to do some networking on them, to talk to the developer, right? You never know, there's maybe something good happen, right? Also to reach out to like some indie or small or mid-sized studio. So I found my first contractor job on ArtStation. It's an indie game studio, only 10 people. They post something on ArtStation, and I sent out a portfolio to them, and they said, cool, we want to work with you. Even you don't have experience, you work look cool. You're not that expensive. So just how I got my first job. Yeah, just work for indie game. You can learn, like try to learn as much as you can. Also like, also you can contact some outsource studio. They have different type of project. You can learn different style. So there is some alumni in my school. They actually open their own studio. Maybe they're just 1 or 2 person team, but you can ask them like, do you need my help, right? I can work for you. Maybe you don't have to pay me that much, but like just give me some opportunity, right? Just how you learn the industry. And there's one thing I forgot to mention here. It's like, if you really want to work for a game, try to play games. Just learn like how gameplay, how people make game, and how like just play it. Or if you just I just really don't have time to play it, I watch people play, right? Yeah. So there is some example I want to talk about. I think they are really good. So I have 3 examples. So first is for like early concept or pre-production exploration, and the second one is for like vertical slice and production stage. They're more, so this one is more like exploration, this one is more like execution. And this is how to show your concept. It's made for gameplay when you in interview, right? So cool. Let me know if you could not see this page. So this is my favorite artist. He is really good at blue sky exploration. I think people know him because he's super famous. If you look at his work, no, never mind. If you look at his work, you see like there's lots of like appealing colors, super impactful image, but he keeps everything super loose. Now, maybe you gotta need to change some of them like in actually production stage, but it's really, really good blue sky exploration. So when you look at some of his work, he showed like a really impactful, like finished level image sketches a bit, but he got all the information you need, like the color, the lighting, the feeling of the architecture, right? And also he also applied some even loose sketches. I think this he can do like really fast. It's super good to show like you can do those quick exploration, right? And this is something really close to what I called art mesh, but the art mesh I make, maybe it's even rough than that, but it's super cool to able to show like you can build up something like really quick. And also you can show like really rough sketches, like drawings. This is helpful too, right? So you can see like from finished painting to a little like thumbnail to some art mesh, right? Art mesh, and to some sketches. He showed like everything you're gonna need in the exploration stages. And I think the number of image is also like good enough to show how many you can do. And for this is another example from him, but this one go crazier because more architecture, more painting, right? You don't need that many images like when you make your portfolio, but just look at the quality, the style, or like how finished it can get, how sketchy, and what type of image he include when he tried to explore his idea. Like a more finish to super sketches and to some pencil drawing. Just show to just show them to your potential employer so they can see like how much you can do. And this is another early exploration sketches done by my lead concept artist. His name is Lucas. He's super awesome, and this is some character he did. You can see like he provide like enough different variation. Like this could go like this can provide different art direction. Like we can go like slim or more like chunky, right? And maybe this style, right? It's also it's also possible, like different exploration. And another example, okay, this is so the 3-1 is like I feel like it's like a really good example to see like how you do blue sky exploration. So if you want to learn more, you can look at his work. But so when I was in school, when I look at his work, I was like, he can do really cool painting. I want to do that. I want to put them in my portfolio. But after I worked, I realized that, oh, he is really good at like blue sky exploration. But if I put all those images, all my portfolio only have this type of image, maybe my employer will feel like, oh, this person is good at exploration, but maybe she could not do exact execution because we need some really solid concept design. This is maybe too loose, right? So right now, when I look at his image, if I want to do something really like exploration, I try to see how people do it. I would think like, okay, I will look at that. But if I want to look at something work for production, I will look for other people. For example, is like this guy. So Dima is one of the concept artists I really like. He worked for Destiny 2. So I really like to look at his design and how his like process to show how he finished the whole design process. So I super encourage, like, if you want to show how you can work for production stages, you can show like the whole design process you work for a certain concept. So for example, like this weapon, right? So this weapon, he showed like a finished concept for this weapon. I would say it's more like a rifle, right? Uh, wait. Oh no, it's more like I think it's like more like an SMG, and but he add lots of a cool design. And then when you look at the second page, he actually add like different type of weapon, but with the same visual languages. Why? Like if you look at that, all this gun is based on real human weapon proportion, because when we make weapon skin, we try to reuse the rig or we already built in the game. The thing we only change is the scheme, it's the visual, the skin of the gun, but we will keep the proportion of some part the same as real human weapon. So for this one, it could be like a bow action sniper. This one, SMG. This two, assault rifle. Oh, I think this one's SMG. Never mind. This one's pistol, right? Rocket launcher, sledgehammer. So, but we just change the look of it. So that's why he provide so many variation. It's like when you make the weapon skin, you can apply it to different type of weapon, and also to show different view of the concept design. And because it's a first person shooter, we need to show this angle, because player will always look at this. You need to make sure like it looks cool in this angle. We need to let player happy. And also here, he start to show the call out. Like this will help the modeler to understand the texture or the detail, how we build up the whole thing. And this is like more like also a call out to show up the whole weapon in the side view. And I think this is some detail. And this is the scope. So this one is a really good example to show the whole design process, to show up like actually you have the ability to finish a concept design. So if you want to show up, you can do that in production stage in your portfolio. I highly recommend like show like a whole design process for one props or for one design. What I also want to do, if I want to show the weapon like that, I will also show some sketches. That's how I that's how I will add if I want to put in the portfolio. And this is how he do this for like character. You can see like the finished one, right? And then like go out, how the building 3D, helmet. So helmet, it's no, or I say like a face or helmet. It's like a really important part because it's almost the focus point. Human will always sensitive to face, so helmet is like a really important part. I remember I make some like different like robot hat for the game, for our game, and some graphic. So I highly recommend, if you want to look for something like work for production stage, look at this people's portfolio or his work for Destiny 2. And this is another artist I really like. And here is some sketches he did for Concord. So you can see tons. I feel like this sketches is really good. Like you can see like how you can explore like different solution for different props, because why you think they are good is because it's a light drawing, it saves time. You can see, you can show like you have different ideas, and sometimes I think it's pretty enough to just have these sketches for the 3D artist to make the finished assets. So this is really, really, really good example. Look at his sketches, and this is also from my lead, Lucas. This is how he finished like a whole project. You will see he showed like every beautiful image, right? But the next one, it's how he sketches. Like for this one, he showed the mountain, right? But how he think about different shape of the mountain in sketches, like how he did the statue, and the statue actually will inspire the following, like the following image, like everything, like how the shape is, how the shape is from this guy, this girl, and how the shape gonna use in this image. This is a really, really good example to show like how to make like production stage finish level image, right? Like how to make those graphic, like more sketches. And like for this image, like how the detail here, right? How this is echo with the statue he made at the very beginning. Like this is like early exploration, right? How to finish. So if you look at like production, I highly recommend like this artist like to look at like what they did. So the thing I want to say is that when you look at a really, really cool or beautiful image, try to think of what this image can be used in the game developed stages. Not just think it's cool, I want to make that, right? To know why you do that. So the last thing I want to talk about is to show like in interview how to talk about like you know what you did, like you know your portfolio is work for the gameplay. So I'll do quick. So this is an example from me. So when I interview with Bad Robot, they asked me to introduce my portfolio. So I do a super stupid thing. Don't do that. Is that I go through my whole portfolio. I was like, yeah, this is a project one. I make something da 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 da, and they look like da 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 da. And when I go through half of them, I look at people, they're all sleeping. I think like, holy shit, I'm gonna fail. And why I did that. And then thankfully, the level designer, he asked me a question. He asked me like, when you do this concept, do you ever think about gameplay? I was like, oh yeah, of course. I'm playing games. So I would just pick this image. I would say like, yeah, this is a beautiful image. But I make two. This one and this one, because I think about like I want to create an environment. One is more like sunny, warm and friendly, and this one is like cloudy, hostile. And then I'll say like, oh, I also make this because I think about like when player enter this alley, they have like different view of the level. So when they enter for the friendly one, it start with tall building and then go lower and then end with tall building. And maybe something happen in this special restaurant. Yeah. And then like in this one, it's different. It starts from like lower building, go up and then go down. So when you enter here, it's more like trash can, abandoned building. And then you go into this tall building to finish a mission, kill someone, jump to here, and then go down all the way to here. Because you go down the building, it has a vertical change, and go here, it's like a more like open space, a big space, and then you run out the alley. But the view here and here different because there's a homeless people. After saying that, they were like, oh, cool. Like everyone just woke up. So I realized that like you need to say something they understand, right? You need to let them know, even though you don't have much experience, but you have passion in game, you know how to create different experience for players. I do this because I like to play game, and I talk with my teacher. I think one of my teacher, he worked for TriArc, and he taught me like how to think about like different space to let player have different experience. So if the level designer never asked the question, I never got a chance to say that, I forgot to say that, I think I failed the interview. So I would say like when you prepare your your portfolio image, always think about like the image I did is for what type of game, or for what, like if I gonna play in my concept, like how my I work through how my concept will provide like different experience for a player, or you just redesign something for a game so you can explain it based on like more like a game development perspective. Right? So this is just just like I remember that like all the time. That's remind me like when you introduce your art, not just talk about arts, it's like talk about how arts can help making a game. Um, so yeah, that's everything. Uh, thank you.